testimony indicates you support the intent of the measure. Oha?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Aloha, Chair Wakai, Chair Shimokuro, Senator Galataria, Sterling Wong, Public Policy Manager for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. OHA is just providing comments on this measure. We appreciate the intent of it. However, we do recognize that there are many concerns within the Hawaiian community about the bill, and we ask that any consideration to moving the Queen statue include full consultation with the Native Hawaiian community. Mahalo.
Thank you, Sterling. Monique Casimiro.
Thank you. I have some images here that might help you understand the proposal. I forwarded the testimony, that pre-prepared testimony. I'm sorry, let me start properly. My name is Momi Casimiro, and I thank you for this opportunity. Chair Wakai, Chair Galataria, Chair Maile Shimabukuro, I am most appreciative of this opportunity because I am hoping that it will be a time when I can provide some information to help those who are having difficulty with this understand what the intent is. Let me begin by giving you some historical notes. May I interrupt this? And just, since I have extra copies, I brought enough for who I thought was going to be in the committee.
Give the extra to...
Okay, fine. But I wanted to share with some of the people here who... can you give them a copy? Thank you. For some historical notes, I want to discuss the makeup of the original working committee. They were made up of Hawaiian leaders and scholarly professors, architects, a very wide range of individuals to address this, not only from a cultural standpoint, but from a structural standpoint. They did their best with the available choices they had at that time. And I am on this journey not to speak against those kupuna who were in that committee. There are opportunities now that did not exist at that time. The location choices they talked about at that time were Iolani Palace. Iolani Palace said no, because they were interested in restoring it to its monarchical period. And that particular site that she's in right now is where the Liberty Bell was. And so they moved the Liberty Bell to the front of the Capitol in order to put her there. They were divided about a number of issues, and the final day when they were to make the decision was going to be about where she faced. The division had to do with her respect for her people, and facing the Capitol was not respectful to her. Because the Capitol is an extension of the government that deposed her. And she was the ali'i who served in Iolani Palace. They did not want her back to the palace. And so they were going to struggle with this decision. Gladys Brack was running the meeting. Someone came in and whispered in her ear and left. She said to the committee, "Follow me." She led them from the Iolani Palace stairs, downstairs, up to this location where she is now. And they were all dumbfounded because when they got there, what they found was that she was already cemented in place. So when we talk about that they made that decision, the decision was finally taken away from them. In my research, I haven't found where that decision was made. There is absolutely no record on that. The current opportunity I saw happened when there was a discussion about the Afghan-Iraqi War Memorial. There was a measure that was introduced, and one of the sites that was considered was the Capitol grounds. And I thought this is the right time for this decision, because by consolidating, let me just use the phrase, it is important to consolidate symbolism and commemoration. And so by putting the war memorials on the Mackay area, on the Mackay Mall, naming the mall Memorial Mall, and bringing the eternal flame to where the Queen is now, concentrates the icons of the military. The eternal flame recognizes all of the men and women who served in the armed forces. The Korean-Vietnam War Memorial, of course, we know about that. So by having the opportunity to commemorate the veterans on the Mackay side, where it is really more a place of reflection, and then to move the Queen away from a place which is really a place of shame, shall I say. She's at the back, she's at the bowels of the capital. She's behind the Iolani Palace. No monarch belongs behind their seat of government or behind the seat of the government that deposed them. Believe me, I'm fond of my United States. I'm just tracing history here. So what happens for me in making developing this concept has to do with putting her on the Barry Kennedy Street Plaza where the Royal Palms are. She becomes the exit at the end of the Royal Palms. How regal it is because of the Royal Palms. And when there are ceremonies to honor her, we can go from there, pay our respects, and walk right down to Washington Place, which was her home. Yes, it was built by Dominus's father, whom she married, but it became her home, and that's where she lived until she died. The home has her mana in it. By placing her at that location, we also put her close to her birthplace. She was born near Queens Medical Center. And so we have her next to Washington Place, which was her home. And then in addition, what I would like to see is there is a wall behind the eternal flame, the existing flame right now. But you don't see it except if you come down the back way to the garage. That wall is shielded with shrubs, green shrubs. I would like to take those shrubs away and put a frieze across that wall that recognizes all of the ali'i. That way we will have in that one area an acknowledgement of the Kingdom of Hawaii, Na Mo'i Hawaii. And on the ends of that curved wall, I would like to see the kahili, which were standards of royalty. And so we create in this wonderful setting an elevated position for a queen. Now the difference between walking down those stairs and looking down on her, which we should not do, the difference is when we locate the eternal flame there, we will be looking into the cauldron of the flame. And how beautiful is that visual activity. So the way I look at it also is that not only will we be uniting the tribute to our armed forces and our veterans and those who were killed in the wars, but we will also be unifying the images. This Capitol building is an architectural manifestation of a volcano. That eternal flame is a sculpted manifestation of the flame. By bringing it together, we're bringing powerful images together. Likewise, when we take the Queen and put her opposite this Capitol, what she will be doing is looking at the Capitol, and through the portal she will see the Iolani Palace. That is a far more dignified and more elevated and more powerful place to be. And I'd like to think that she would also be there to look over those who are making decisions in behalf of her people and the people of Hawaii. I want to tell you, I have sought out many people's advice as I processed this. I've been working on this solidly for almost 5 months. Each person had something to contribute that helped to improve the proposal, which I finally brought here and which I'm thankful was created into a bill. I did not do this alone. I came on this journey with others. But I also felt it was very important that I seek out the Queen's permission. I went to Mauna Ala and I asked Bill Maioho for permission to allow me to go and visit the Queen. He let me into the crypt. I stood before her crypt. I placed one hand against the crypt and the other hand against my heart, and I said the Lord's Prayer. And then I said, I am asking your permission, and I'm also asking your guidance. And if you are willing to support me in this, I would like some way that you would let me know. Because in truth, I am doing this in your behalf. That same week is when I learned what happened about the decision that the committee could not make because it was made for them. And so I take that as a sign. Now, when I was here before and testified before the House, I was instructed at that time to do everything I could to encourage a unified approach to this project. And I did reach out. I sent emails, especially to the president of the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs, because they were the ones who wrote the opposition statement that I thought had probably carried the most weight. I did not hear anything back. I did not want to have this discussion here. I really wanted to have it in Mauna Ala, because if we were going to do this for the Queen, I felt that we should do it in her presence. And but because that didn't happen, I'm saying it here, and there's another reason why I am. This is not just about Hawaiians. This is about veterans, and they come in every ethnicity. This is also about the people of the state. I've talked to Hawaiians, non-Hawaiians as well, and even non-Hawaiians can see the virtue of making this change. I've spoken to veterans. I went to the meeting of the Veterans Task Force because I really didn't know who to speak to. And I went there, I was invited to present my paper, I did, and they all came and they hugged me and they thanked me. I have been energized along the way by people who said yes. The person I was most interested in satisfying was the Queen. I also want to tell you this. I'm responsible for returning the portrait of the Queen to Iolani Palace. There was a great deal of division over that too. Long story short, the day I released the painting, when I say I released, it was not, I had not gotten the permission of Lynn Waihe'e, who had asked me not to release the original until she was satisfied with the replicated copy. When there was all this division in the Hawaiian community about where the portrait belonged, Mrs. King had it restored, taken out of the basement where it had suffered some damage, had it restored and put in the dining room of Washington Place. But years later, nobody remembers that she's the one who saved the portrait except those who were docents there. Iolani Palace, in the meantime, is being restored, and they want the portrait back because she was to hang in the blue room opposite the door from Kalakaua. The two of them were to hang there at the door. So they said, the Queen commissioned this. She belongs here in the palace. So listening to all of these people telling me all the reasons why she belongs someplace else, I thought of King Solomon, who threatened to cut the baby in half. But I said to myself, I don't have a baby here. I have a painting and I can replicate it. Monsignor Kikumano heard my plan. He supported it. He went and he raised money. The money came from First Hawaiian Bank, John Bellinger, from Gladys Brandt, from Andy Ichiki. And I proceeded with the painting, and the day that I released it, Jimmy Bartels with two helpers carried it across from Washington Place, across the lawn, to Iolani Palace. It was, I have to admit to you, a very melancholy moment for me to watch that, but also pono. I want to see the day we carry our queen across this lawn to a place of honor, and that's why I am here. She speaks of seeing the unseen and hearing the unheard, and that is what I am following. I am following the Queen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs.
Aloha chairs, members of the committee. My name is Suli Stroud, president of the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs, representing 68 civic clubs on 16 states on the continent, as well as every county in Hawaii. We are here and we are in opposition to this bill. Members of the civic clubs were involved in were leaders in the planning and dedication of the Queen statue. Gladys Brandt, a prominent member of the community and staunch civic club member, was the chair of the Jewelry Commission. Vice Chair Myron Thompson was another committed civic club member. Attached to our testimony, which is 4 pages, is a list of the original jewelry members, and also there's a brief on who they were and their qualifications to serve. We feel that this short bio explains briefly who again they were and why they were asked to serve. The commissioners were movers and shakers in the community. It was a balance of educators, historians, authors, artists, and cultural practitioners. Each one of these commissioners was a respected individual. It's important to note that the Jewelry Commission decision to place the Queen statue where it is now was the result of assessing all possible options. And the area near the Eternal Flame was also one of those considerations. There was discussion as to the placement of the statue and the orientation of the Queen. And I appreciate the previous testimony where the discussion was, it appeared that the base was in place, so that decision had been made as far as where the base was to be placed. But again, from the previous testifier, the discussion or this description is that she was cemented in place. Ultimately, it was decided that she faced the Capitol, leading her people into the future. This is what our feelings are. If you read the section 1 of this bill, it provides the exact same reasons that the statue is located where it is. The walkway behind the state capitol, a quiet and peaceful oasis and a place of reflection. It is a quiet place conducive for appropriate chants and oli and rituals at significant times throughout the year. It is a place to reflect our Queen and her history. It is a place where offerings of lei and flowers are frequently found at the statue. This bill would move the statue to a noisy street next to a bus stop where the Eternal Flame was dedicated years ago to honor our Hawaii military. We suggest that the area around the Eternal Flame deserves to be improved, and to perhaps include the suggestions that is spoken of in the bill. We further feel that the planned Hawaiian suggestions cited in this bill could also be added to the mall around the statue of the Queen where she currently resides. The association holds our military in highest esteem, and many of our members have served the military. Hawaiian veterans certainly deserve more memorials added to those that are already in existence, but not by moving the Queen statue. The painful memory of the Queen's humiliation and a nation stolen is extremely significant to Native Hawaiians, and her statue should not be moved at the whim of the legislature, using the Hawaii military and veterans as cover. The creation of another working group to second-guess the work of the original jury commission is also unnecessary. We urge you to study the list of jury commission members and ponder on whether the deliberate collective wisdom of such honored and respected kupuna deserves to be set aside. We think not. Also included in our testimony on page 4 is a reference to the 1975 Act 173. And as you read the act, the language is very, very clear that the spirit of Liliuokalani was to be a permanent reminder and display at the Capitol. We urge you to leave the statue where it is and hold this bill in committee. Mahalo.
Kaleo Pike has submitted testimony in support. Regina has submitted testimony in opposition. Joan Lee Husted, also testimony in support. Blaine Ferguson, testimony in opposition. Mark Swearingen?
Yes.
Swearingen? Please, step forward, Mark.
Aloha, mai kako. I'm here today representing the Kale Maile Ali'i Hawaiian Civic Club, which translated into English means the Queen's Women. Our club is dedicated to furthering and educating the population here of the works and the desires of the Queen. Her spirit, her mana, resides here behind us, or behind you, in the statue. And that's what Hawaiians believe, that everything has mana. The way she's oriented and the location where she is today reminds us that she is standing kue against the aggression of the soldiers of the United States. Now, let me be clear. I'm a veteran of the United States Army, retired, and saw my action during the Vietnam era. My brother also served in Vietnam. He flew B-52s. My father fought in Vietnam and Korea in the United States Marine Corps. And my grandfather was also United States Army, World War II, Engineer Corps, captain. So we have a long tradition in military service, and we recognize the importance of the eternal flame and the location of where it is today. I'm getting choked up, excuse me. My club president wanted to be here today, but because of previous commitments, Dr. Lynette Cruz could not make it. So I just wanted to read to you what I wrote in submission yesterday. The spirit of Queen Liliu is the spirit of peace. The spirit of the U.S. war machine is that of death and destruction. Once again, the battle between peace and war appears at the steps of Iolani. Why? To remind Hawaiians that there isn't going to be any sovereignty? That's the question. We say kill the bill. And in my humble opinion, this is nothing more than a symbolic slap to Kanaka Maoli and the Lahui. History is repeating itself. Oni pa'a na ku'e. Thank you, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Alan Ho has submitted testimony in support. Juanita Kawamoto Brown? Oh, no. Testimony in opposition from Juanita. Robert K. Kailea, testimony in support. Anolani Hanohano, in opposition. Charles Ice, submitted commentary. Diane Texidor, opposition. Kilea, opposition. Mark Alice Kaiulani Wilhelm. Thank you.
It's Mary Alice Kaiulani. Aloha, mai kako. I'm here representing myself and also my ohana. I'm here for my family reunion, Masman Ohana. And this wasn't on my itinerary, but I'm really happy to be here at this time. I'm also here as a member of Kale Maili Ali'i Hawaiian Civic Club. And I'm speaking in opposition to the relocation of the Queen's statue. I would like to tell you my mother, Dallas Keali'i Ho'onaina Mossman Vogler, was the director of the reenactment of the overthrow on the 100th observance of the overthrow in 1993. In 1995, she participated as a member of the Huina'o in a vigil at Iolani Palace, marking all of the 800 plus days that the Queen was imprisoned there. And at the time, she was in her 60s. She was 63 years old and working full-time as a social worker. And she would spend many nights at the palace overnight. She was usually accompanied by friends so that she wouldn't be there alone, but she was often there throughout these months. And in 1995, during this time, she was diagnosed with leukemia and immediately hospitalized and succumbed to leukemia within a year of that time. In February, on the 28th of February 1996, the palace and the Queen are, I think, the most important symbols of the Native Hawaiian people at this time. And to move the Queen's statue is a disrespect to the Native Hawaiian people, in my opinion. I think they belong together. The Queen's statue and the palace need to be as close together as possible. And I think that when you consider the idea of moving the Queen's statue and exchanging it with the eternal flame, I hope you will ask yourselves which came first, the idea of moving the eternal flame to where the Queen is, or moving the Queen to where the eternal flame is. Because I think it's important to realize what the motivation is. If it is, the thought was first to honor the Queen better, to make her facing the palace, that's one thing. But if it was first to bring a more prominent, better location to the eternal flame, that's a different thing. So I hope that you guys will think about what's, the importance of that statue to the Native Hawaiian people. And thank you for listening to my testimony.
Thank you, Mary Alice. Leon Siu has submitted testimony in opposition. Lemomi Khan, opposition. Ervin Williams, also in opposition. Puanani Rogers, opposition. Ho'ona Nea, also in opposition. There are a few more on this list. Kainoa Danes, also in opposition. Erwin Cockett has submitted testimony in support. We have late testimony from Caroline Kong, has submitted testimony in opposition. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? We're going to go left to right. The gentleman with your hand. Oh no, sorry.
Michael.
Behind you.
Mike.
We're going to just move this way.
get to like the designing criteria. You know, when I read the bill, and it is wrong to move it. No. The reason I say that is because, I mean, there's a reason why this is symbolic. But having she's giving an eye on America. You know, what America has done to her people, to her, you know. Another thing is you can move her and bring in the military flag around there. That feels to me like another overdose. Because the day that the Greens, the day that the Americans overthrew our Queen, they had God feed the palace in doing it. Well, not only are you putting the gun back, you're kicking her out of her head. You can't do that. This is life. I'm against this. He's totally wrong. I'm not doing but I'm sorry. I don't agree with you. Okay.
Michael, you're in opposition?
I'm opposed it. I strongly oppose it because by approving this, you're changing history. And it's wrong. You are the military. The military is more important than our Queen. It's wrong. Don't do it. This is wrong. This is hurtful. This is hurtful. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Somebody else gonna speak on the left side or that side of the room? We're just gonna go this way. Did you want to speak? Please, come forward.
Mahalo nui, members of the committee. My name is Laulani Teal, and I'm from the Ho'opaepono Peace Project. I would like to say that while I would like to speak in opposition to the move of the statue, but at the same time, you know, also to express my appreciation for all of the mana'o that went into it. I can see, you know, it was really good to hear the story and, you know, and to know all of the effort and all the prayer that went into the effort to do so. I do want to say that as someone who works with the Hawaiian movement a lot, that the Queen's position there, while awkward, and I will agree that it is an awkward position to be between the Iolani Palace and the state capitol, is certainly, you know, it certainly is absolutely an awkward position. And yet, in many ways, that is important for many of the people who also find ourselves stuck in that position, you know, where we have to go between, you know, our, if you will, sovereign spaces and the state and the things that we have to do here. So, you know, quite literally, it's often the place where people would stop with children, you know, to offer ho'okupu before having to go to the legislature, or, you know, at events at the palace. A lot of times groups will walk over there, you know, and it's good in many ways to be able to see the Queen still facing the Capitol, which does symbolize America and, you know, the United States occupation of Hawaii to very many people. And so, you know, in that way, it feels to many people like the Queen is watching, you know, and that is really, really important. It's strengthening, it's grounding for many people within the awkward context that is there. And, you know, and I do also appreciate the other speakers, you know, Mary Alice Kaiulani, who spoke earlier. You know, I spent time at the statue before with her mother, who I miss dearly, who was an absolutely great woman. And, you know, and so many others, you know, with Kekuni Blaisdell and many who are no longer with us today. And I think that those memories, although, you know, there may be valid questions about the placement and that awkwardness, those memories are so important to people. And I think that what we really need to do, there is a way to resolve all of this, and really the only way is to bring pono to all of Hawaii. And, you know, of course, that's a big step for all of us. It's a big, big effort. But really, that is the only way that we are going to have her looking on something that's not a heva, that's not an illegal, you know, taking of her, what really rightfully belongs to her. And so until that time, you know, I think we need to continue the prayers, we need to continue the discussion, and all of those things are important. All of the signs, all of those, you know, good things that come to us, they're very, very important. And I think we needed to honor them all within one another as well. Mahalo.
Thank you, Laulani. We want to encourage, if you're going to speak after Laulani, if you could also, if you could, put your testimony in writing so we could have it as part of our records as well. Moving from that side of the room this way was the gentleman there in the blue and large shirt. Yes, you. Please step forward.
Oi. Aloha ka ua ka kou. Ki aloha o yo pū koino. I'm here because I care. I am a creator, a writer, and a visionary. I like to see things that are coming rather than things that are gone. What is being presented here, I am for. Because I know that in the visions that I can see of our people and the people from around the world coming on tour buses in front of the state capitol and seeing the statue of our Queen standing there majestically and being able to ask, who is that? And bring recognition to a Queen who stood for peace and aloha in Hawaii. There are a lot of school buses that go by where the bus drivers would be able to say, that was our last Queen. Can you see Mo'opuna walking across and pulling on the arm of the grandpa? Grandpa, who's that? That's our last Queen, and this is what happened. So all the people of the world that come here on tour buses will come by and see not only the statue of Father Damien standing out front, but the story that carries validity of aloha over our Hawaiian kingdom through the statue that should be moved over to its proper place instead of being hidden in the shadows between two buildings. It should be placed up front where all the world can come and see what the wrong that was done to her, our queen, Liliuokalani, and the Hawaiian kingdom. Do the right thing, move forward. I am understanding of all our people and what we are about. And there is half and half. Pono is when she stands there watching the entire thing through the vision. When you see the pictures that are in front of you that have been prepared, it is Pono, because now the sun shines down and she sees through. And I see buses of tourists going by saying, that's the last reigning queen of Hawaii, Queen Liliuokalani. I'm for this. Let's make the move forward. Let's make the move forward. Mahalo.
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Ke aloha o io pu.
Thank you, Keola.
You're welcome.
The gentleman there, oh, this gentleman and then the gentleman in the back. Please come forward.
Aloha kako. My name is Ross Kamakahi. I sit here in total amazement today listening to the testimonies of the opposition and the people for. And it fascinates me is, I don't know how many of you legislators or senators ever go outside to look at the Queen or at the statue when the children have their Children's Day at the Capitol. What do you see around the statue? Anybody? Urinals. The smell. The porta potties are around that area on that day, during that period. There's other times where that area is just another day during the year. It's being held as an area, staging area for porta potties. Now that's where what's being testified here is supposed to be regal, majestic, representative of what's Pono. I don't know what that is. I mean, I was born and raised on the mainland. I attended school here at Weber Community College. That's where I know Senator Brickwood Galataria. And then graduated from Manoa, and then went to school grad school on the mainland. But it brings tears to my eyes that we're here talking about something that's already being defamed and just totally disrespecting not only the statue itself, but the meaning behind the statue. Okay? I'm in support of this bill, but more important, I think, is the idea of, in life, I like to speak in metaphors. And part of the metaphors I speak on most is from Malka Makai, the Ahupua'a. If the Queen is higher than all this other stuff here in this area, then she has, her mana is spread throughout the land below, just by the downhill natural technologies of the Ahupua'a system itself, which will fertilize the ground beneath. And we need some fertilization here because, and some mana, because there obviously is two sides, like the previous gentleman mentioned, 50-50 or whatever the percentage is. I don't want to make pilikia with the other Hawaiian civic clubs, but last night, I'm a member of the Prince Kuhio Civic Club, and we had our general membership meeting last night, and we voted in favor of it, of the bill. And there are many people here representing the group too, and in support of the bill itself. We have to do what's Pono. And if you need more time to think about it or to figure it out, there's a lot of people here that can add their manao, share what their perspective is with you. And certainly there has to be some kind of balance, or maybe even protecting the Queen statue that's being inundated on particular days of the year with pilau conditions. It just needs to be respectful. Whatever you do, whatever you decide, has to be respectful, because without that, it's just going to be a heva. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. I know some of our members have to go to other meetings, so if I could ask, if you are going to say something, if we could keep it to about 2 minutes for each individual. The gentleman in the back of the room first, and then we'll come up to you.
My name is Robert Navahine Mansfield, Aloha Kako. My family has no prominence in Hawaii. I am a veteran of the Vietnam area, and I come here from the point of view of pain, and the word for pain is eha. It's a pain when the day I first spotted my grandfather's signature, who was born in 1882, on that form that protested or opposed annexation. And from that day on, I felt this eha, or this pain. I love the Queen. I still feel her pain. As soon as she was taken off the throne, I could feel her sense of being powerless. Powerless as a sovereign, powerless as a human being to do anything. I see the Queen now in between the Iolani Palace and this building. And the way I look at it is that she is at the okole of both buildings. And if you look up the word okole, then you will know what I mean. It's the most ignoble place of the human body. And I feel that she stands there again, powerless. So she needs to be moved. If anybody represents transition from the Kingdom of Hawaii to the territory of the United States of America, that person should be William McKinley. Put him in that place. That's all I have to say. Mahalo.
Great, thank you, Robert. Woman in the black. I'm going to be losing my staff in a little while, so I really need to try to have you stick to the under 2 minute rule. Thank you.
This is my notes. So I don't know if I should turn this in or redo it or whatever, and I won't read it because I probably can't right now. My name is Aulani Ahmad. I live in the Ahupua of Lualualei between Nanakuli and Maili in the Princess Kahanu Estates Hawaiian Homestead residential area. My relationship with MOMI is through our Kamehameha Women's Alumni Association. And for the first time on Tuesday, when we got together so we could sing our melees and our choral singing, which we're there and we love to do, she shared this, and we did not sing, we listened. We listened and was in shock when we found out that there are people against this wonderful imagery that MOMI has put together. And if you know MOMI Casimiro, she does not do anything frivolous. She works quietly and effectively and powerfully. She's a dignified Hawaiian woman, and we're so proud to know her. I feel proud. I didn't know her personally. I've heard about her for years. She's done magnificent, wonderful things for the state. And so therefore, I support this issue, and I cannot believe that the original jurists, if that's what they're called, would not be for this issue or this vision that MOMI has put together. And it's not frivolous, and whatever else they put a name to it, that it's like, da-da, we're just going to do this because we think we should.
I don't think this is what Momi's intention is. And I think that her vision, and if you read it, is Pono. She's a Pono person. And so I take issue about this alluding to the plan, the vision that she has. And it just strikes me as being disrespectful to her vision. Thank you.
Thank you. In the pink blue. Can I just get a show of hands? How many others want to speak? 2 people. Okay.
Aloha. Nice to see you. Where is Clayton he? My name is Dr. Verlianne Kapule Molina Wright. I'm a strategic vision in Kupuna. I am a member of the Prince Kuhio Hawaiian Civic Club and serve as a Luna Ha'i A'o. I have 42 years in education from preschool to PhD. My parents are from Kauai and Huli'ea. Both didn't finish school. Prince Kuhio was often called the Prince of the People and is well known for his efforts to preserve and strengthen the Hawaiian people. He was a delegate to Congress. He passed and assisted with as being the author of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act. He also restored the Royal Order of Kamehameha I and founding the Hawaiian Civic Club movement. Prince Kuhio formed the first Hawaiian Civic Club in 1918 to stimulate civic efforts and education within the Hawaiian community and promote Hawaiian culture. What you see today...
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I really need to get to
the essence?
The essence of what you're trying to
so
say.
We declare our kuleana to this distinguished body of legislators to help our Queen Liliuokalani in 3 areas. 1 is to write an incomplete process. 2 is to designate an area that is pono and dedicated only for our Queen. And 3 is to acknowledge that the current location is not pono. As you know, the spirit of aloha is part of the revised statutes, section 5-7.5, and I just want to read 2 phrases in the law itself. Aloha means to hear what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable. That is the Queen's words, and it's in your state statutes. It is our law. And the last sentence talks about the importance to reside with the life force and give consideration to the aloha spirit. So what is not said is makahana ika, the learning is in the doing. And what you see as a project of Momi Kazamero is a mana'o for the Hawaiian people. To see what cannot be seen is to recognize that the Capitol grounds are a pico for our community. We encourage civic engagement, we practice democracy, and we address the common good. But it is shared for our monarchy and therefore an improper place. There is only one place that is pono and designated for our only Queen of the United States of America and the Hawaiian Nation. The last is that the Hawaiian Civic Club declares to this legislative body to provide the proper pathway to pono and to reside with the life force and give consideration to the aloha spirit. Also, so many veterans are our members. As you can see, Ross himself is a Vietnam vet. He's an Agent Orange disability, and many of our members have also served in the Korean War and many of the current wars that we are presently engaged in. All we ask in my closing is that we encourage you to make pono, make righteous, make right, to create a proper place for our Queen and only for her. And what I heard in the previous legislation testimonies is what we call intergenerational trauma. The placement of the statute continues this intergenerational trauma, which is the hurt, the sense of loss, of kingdom, of language, of culture, and the restoration of these rights of the Hawaiian people in the Hawaiian Constitution. So all we're asking is that this bill be supported so that the process can be made complete. And the way the legislation is written is pono. So we thank you.
Thank you, President. Barbara?
For the sake of time, I think we better stand on our written testimony.
Can I just say that,
We don't have any written testimony,
oh, you don't?
but we'll be happy to.
Okay,
receive it.
I'll submit it. Aloha, nice to be here. My name is Barbara Zeraminas-Gan, Chair of the State Foundation on Culture and the Arts. And we're not taking a position for or against, but what we want to say simply is that should the bill move forward, that we would be want to be represented as a voting member on the working group, and we would be in fairness and respect and in sensitivity for whatever. So thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Aloha, Winala. My name is Ponoke Aloha. Some of you know me. This is one of the last places that I would like to be on this island, but I'm here to speak in opposition of moving our queen. I think it's there as kind of a reminder to the people who are in charge and making the rules in this fake state to try and help them think Pono and think about the future and the future generations when you make laws, and hopefully her mana can stick in your na'au to make you do the Pono thing and the right decisions. So I think in a way it's kind of a good reminder for you to do the Pono thing and to think about our future generations and especially our Aina. Mahalo. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Yes.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chairs. Today I come with my prayers to bless all of you. What you're going through every day to listen, to grasp, and to decide. I'm here for all the kahus that cannot be here and the children, which a place they're in your hands, our future, the children. And they should be here to have a voting, to see, listen to what they get to say. Listen to the children, and they can be a part of the vote. I'm a 3-time Vietnam veteran, and I see the vision that Mommy has, and then the expense it might be to move it. But I'm here to be undecided because I know it would be nice to see my veteran brothers that died for Hawaii to be close to our queen and to be shared with flowers and everything every day, and the people passing by, and where from the mountain where I was born, Po'oa, to the ocean, where she can look, can see everything in a vision. But we must remember, Keako owns everything. We must move on. What is more important? And the military, I respect them. I know many generals and admirals, and with the support, we must have working up the bill that makes the military please pay your rent so we can move on. Because a lot of our people waited for that money to move on the Hawaiian homelands without asking money from the government for creating OHA. We must have our stand now, brothers and sisters. But from my heart, I pledge that I work for Keako or Jehovah God, and I pray that everything be Pono, and all my brothers in here and everybody forgive and love, because we're working for the future and the betterment and the growth for Hawaii. Slow, beautiful development for us all. A long and beautiful life. So I bless you for being here, and bless our president and the governor to take out any sadness, heavy sickness, so they can be clean and pure in their thinking to decide in your bodies too and your families. Thank you for Kahumanumu. I love you all, and I love all my brothers and sisters here today. We shouldn't be fighting among family, or but we must move on, and we leave this to Keako. I decided to leave it up to him, but remember, the children come first. Thank you.
Thank you. Any last individuals wanting to testify? If not, members, questions of those who have testified? Nope.
I don't have a question, Mr. Chair, but I wanted to show you this picture.
Nope, I have it right here.
Okay. Let me show it to the audience. Oops. Anyway. This is a picture of 4-year-old Aponi Cleveland Kidani, my grandson, taken 3 months ago. Had the statue of Queen Liliuokalani not be where it is today, I would have lost this moment to teaching. Because we were coming from the palace, and I talked to him about our queen and our king and what Iolani Palace stood for. As we passed the statue on the way back to the Capitol, he asked me, "Grammy, who's that lady?" And I said, "That's Queen Liliuokalani." At that moment, he raised his hand and said, "Our queen." And I'm telling you, for the sake of our children, and this is not to be disrespectful to you, Momi, but as someone who works in the Capitol 5 to 6 days a week, I can tell you that the amount of students that pass through this area rather than the area across the street is 10 times the amount, and I don't want to lose the opportunity to teach our students and our visitors about what happened to the Hawaiian people. I don't want that to be forgotten. So for that reason, I cannot support this bill. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we're going to break briefly for decision making.
Excuse me, I don't think you should have made a comment. I thought it was not fair that she should speak up, because she's a decider, you know what I mean?
But we're all have our own opinions.
I just wanted to say
we're going to reconvene the joint committees, and having conferred both chairs of the Technology and Arts Committee as well as the Hawaiian Affairs Committee are going to recommend that this measure be deferred. I know that there are strong opinions on both sides of this issue, and applaud you, Momi, for dedicating 5 months of your life to this endeavor, but it just seems like there's not parallel thoughts on how we move forward on this, and this is, being that it's of real significance, it's not a Manini issue, that we really should allow for this issue to breathe more and have the various Hawaiian interest groups come together so that we can all collectively be in parallel as we move forward on this measure. I know some of the members have some comments that they want to share on this measure as well.
Hey, Mayor. Okay. First of all, thank you, chairs, for hearing the bill. I appreciate it because I introduced it. And I will say that I've never had a chance to really work with Momi before. And when she approached me with such an idea, I really truly understood why her reputation was real. Momi is a visionary. And for everybody that was snickering behind her when she was talking, I don't appreciate it. This kind of vision is rare. A nation is built on this kind of vision. People continue cultures because of this kind of vision.
Amen.
So this, for myself, is just the beginning of a longer conversation. Something that will take some heartburn, a lot of heartburn moment, a lot of collaboration. But for me, Lili'u belongs everywhere, not in just one place. At the okole of 2 buildings, whatever brother said, she's every place. Her spirit is not in one piece of artwork. Her spirit resides in our hearts. And it is that spirit that we will take to make things pono for her. So in the event that we do have a chance to relocate Lili'u in Momi's vision, that'll happen, because she's going to pull the strings, not us. I think that, to your question, Mary Alice, what came first? I will tell you what came first, because she told me what came first. Lili'u came first. Lili'u was first, middle, and last. And with everybody who sacrificed their lives for us, they were with her all the way. Okay? That's the vision. So, this is but a small win for those who oppose this concept, but this is but a start of a conversation that needs to happen as our Hawaiian people evolve. Because it's this kind of visionary action that it will take us all to the next level. Governments come and go, nations stay forever. We will decide where we go, and this is but a part of a growing process for our Hawaiian people. So I understand what Senator Kidani is speaking of, because I myself have mo'opuna, and that was a golden moment for her to be able to share who Lili'u was, and then for her mo'opuna to embrace that and say, our queen. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate your mom at Iolani Palace. Your mom was a visionary too, incredible. I can appreciate all the opposition from the Association of Civic Clubs. I think at this point the chair's decision is right in the sense that we would want to now start a larger conversation. And you know, I didn't realize that Lili'u was already secured while they were trying to decide which way she's going to. I mean, that to me that's no respect. And I don't know who made that decision. I would like to know, but I kind of don't really want to know. Sounds like a bureaucratic question that really got out of hand. Anyway, I want to thank the chairs again for allowing this discussion to happen and for this discussion to begin, because who knows, one day we will evolve to that place that you envision, Momi. And knowing the political headwinds, now we're looking at the real politics. This is the ground zero of Hawaii politics. And frankly, the truth of the matter is we're not sure how far this would have gone. And to shed more blood about this might not have been the right thing to do. It maybe would have been more divisive than unifying. But I will say, and thank you for let me take more than 2 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, 3.
Okay. I will say that we, as a legislature, will think and will expect probably some action to come in the coming sessions on this. And may we suggest that the larger effort would be to circle back with the civic clubs and to circle back with the Hawaiian leaders and to gain a consensus among them. And for those who can support. For those who cannot, maybe stand down and provide a more unified effort. So when we do return with this idea, not only is it pono, but it's pa'a. And that would be my recommendation as the introducer on the Senate side. I really appreciate you. I think everybody should. And I think what was important today was the respect that was given, because everybody could have been yelling and screaming, but I was very pleased at the discourse that happened. It was very respectful. So just know that as a member of this committee, I look forward to perhaps entertaining more dialogue and even maybe one day reintroducing the bill. I can promise you that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chairs.
Thank you. Any other commentary? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you.
In my verse to oppose all the idiots who insist it's simply how it goes. Back in 1893, the year was military dethroned, and in prison, my queen Lili'u Okalani. All of these problems way in my brain. I know, I go insane. Way in my brain, feeling the pain. Cause in 1997, ain't a damn thing changed. No Hawaiian, no cloud.
you cannot handle. And then you wanna shut us up so you start screaming scandal. You say we're fighting for no reason and that we only fail. If intelligence is a crime, then I belong in jail. No more watching the world go by, my friend. Somebody gonna die if I see my tutu cry again. Hawaiian man, Hawaiian land. I rap there for YM, and if you ask me why I rap Hawaiian, then I tell you cause I can. You cannot understand, so you start dissing. The last person that tried to shut me up is still missing. This is the land, so tell me why must we pay rent? If I happen to ignore you, it's because you're ignorant. Pidgin is the dialect that I select when I talk. But tell me, can you walk the walk? You say library, I say library. I tell you why I call it the library, cause that's where they bury all the lies. You can't believe everything you read. The words of our kupuna is all you really need, and then you tell me that I'm arrogant because I call you ignorant. When it's apparent that you're blaming me for your stupidity, when you should blame your parents. Pilgrims, that's the way it is. Not prejudice, I'm just telling it like it is. My words upset your belly just like indigestion. To snap or not to snap, that is my question.